The West Virginia Mountaineers continue to be active in the transfer portal in both football and basketball. Rich Rodriguez got himself a dog at the linebacker spot.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. I got to apologize, guys. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and my internet was out, and I was supposed to go live like 20 minutes ago, and I went and looked. It's like you overlook things. Turns out the cats, of course, and they were jumping around, flying around earlier, had knocked it out of the socket or whatever you want to call it, where you plug it in. So, I thought my internet got turned off for some reason. I'm like, I know, I just paid that. So anyways, apologies for the delay here, guys. But man, it's been fun today. I was expecting a little more movement, to be honest, but maybe we'll get some more as the week progresses towards the weekend. I'm not exactly sure. Beautiful weather outside. If you're not, I'm enjoying that. So let's talk about this really quick as we break down this episode here. We'll give you what to expect, but we got to talk about the Monarch Money, the sponsor for this video, guys. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. West Virginia absolutely nailed, in my opinion, the linebacker pickup today. And as you can see, the background on here is kind of messed up, but that's okay. Ben Bogle is somebody that, he may not jump out of right away as far as the name, where he comes from, all that kind of thing. But when you turn on the tape, holy smackerel, guys, I'm going to show you some tape of this guy. And listen, he performed well against Power 4 competition. He performed well against, he performed well against Power 4 competition. He performed well against FCS competition. It does not matter where. And I'm going to show you some tape today from the backside where you typically go to watch, tape at from the rear end, from like the end zone view. There's some really good tape of him. So I'm going to show you guys that. To give you an idea of what kind of player we're getting. I did speak with Ben for a little bit. Seems like a nice guy. Didn't get a chance to talk to him as much as I wanted to, but he had great production against BYU guys. He had great production against other teams. And so I'm going to break him down first, and then I'll show you the tape on him. So, he's an extremely athletic dude. He is a plus pass rusher. I think you can play him inside the box. You can also play him at outside backer, absolutely. Him and Chase Wilson together will be a dynamic duo. I do expect this guy to get a lot of snaps, guys, possibly even start. Honestly, I'm expecting him to. I'm just not sure where yet. He's got almost 1,000 snaps in his career, which is just a ton. He's seen every look. He's seen every little thing. His true freshman year, he only played in 4 games, so not a whole lot there. But his redshirt freshman year, man, it ramped up to 13 games, 32 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Rotational player. Last year as a sophomore, guys, and this is the most exciting thing about him. He had this breakout season, 10 games, 87 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 3 quarterbacks hits, 2 interceptions. He had 12 tackles, 6.5 TFLs, and 3.5 sacks in 1 game versus Austin Peay. That's incredible. I don't care what level you're at. He also had a sack against BYU. So this dude is a really good pass rusher. He might come in and be our best pass rusher, which is wild. Maybe they play him at Bandit. I don't know exactly where they're going to want to play him because he plays it so well in the box too. So obviously he chose West Virginia over Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest from what I was able to gather. Maybe there were others involved. It hasn't all come out that I've seen yet, and I haven't read any articles on it either. I've kind of done my own research. West Virginia is targeting linebackers, guys, in this portal. It's very obvious because I think you've got guys like Reed Carrico and Chase Wilson, who are playing extreme, I think are going to be really good. But you got Ben Cutter, who I think personally probably should have hit the portal. In my opinion, I just think that he's a little bit too slow for the Big 12. Hopefully he proves me wrong, but I think there's some guys in that room that there's a reason. I mean, there's a reason Trey Lathan and Josiah Trotter were younger than most of the guys in that room that they were starting, right? So sometimes we just have to keep it honest here. So 87 tackles in 2024, guys, 16 and a half TFLs, show the ability to what? Run and disrupt plays. He's 6'1", 225 pounds. Some say 6'2". So, he's not huge, but he's not small. He's right there in that where you want him to be in the Big 12 especially. He can play all three linebackers positions that I watch on tape. He plays them all. He can play bandit. He can play outside backer. He can play inside. He contributes in coverage where he's had multiple interceptions. He's a high motor intense guy. So I think thinking about last year, guys, he played 725 snaps. It's a lot of snaps, guys. At the FCS level where players are getting better and better every year, I think this guy's going to step right in and make an impact at West Virginia. And when you look at his tape against BYU, he didn't miss a beat. And BYU was arguably the best team in our league last year, and he belonged on that field. He was the best player on the field at times in that game. So, I was shocked when I went and watched that tape, and we're going to check some of that out. I think this addresses West Virginia's linebacker issues, depth, and you get an all-American talent guy that brings production, versatility, and leadership to a Zach Alley defense that needs a guy that can kind of do everything. I think he'll be expected to compete for a starting role alongside Carrico, Wilson, and Cutter. And he's got 2 years of eligibility left, but I think he'll be a potential NFL draft guy after this year, guys. I'm going to make a big prediction on this show. I am a big fan of this guy, and you're about to find out why. His transfer is a game changer, in my opinion, for West Virginia. I think it's going to get overlooked. I don't think it's going to get a lot of fanfare. People think it's another lower-level FCS player. This dude's different. He's electric, guys. He's electric. Very similar to a David Long Jr. in a lot of ways, where he just I mean, you look at some of these plays where he's in the box and he's going after guys. He hugs the backside of these offensive linemen almost like he's attached to them. That's how well he bends going in. And I mean, you'll see. I really like him, guys. So overall, I think you start to ask yourself, this defense is starting to look really, really good. And could Bogle be the guy by the end of the year that you're saying, hey, man, this guy helped lead this team to a top 4 finish in the Big 12? I think that's a possibility. I think that by the year's end, I'll make a prediction. I think Bogle, as long as he stays injury-free, will be one of the best players on the defense, if not the best player on the defense. That's how much I like him. So let's get over to the tapes so I can put up or shut up with some of this, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. He is a very good athlete, better than anybody we have in the room. He's right there probably with Chase Wilson. I think Chase Wilson's a good athlete too. Our linebacker got a lot better today. This excites me. So I don't know which one it is. Yeah, this one. Okay. So we're going to watch, I guess we'll watch this one. This is against BYU here, I do believe. So here he is playing the bandit spot out here on the edge, and watch him absolutely destroy is that a tight end or a right tackle? Let's see, center guard tackle. This is a tight end. So watch him destroy the tight end on this play. No, he actually goes after the tackle and defeats the back. My apologies. I didn't watch it beforehand. I was making an assumption. But watch how he rushes the passer here and gets the ret lop. Get off me, get around the edge and make the sack. That's against BYU, guys. Here he is making play in space. Really nice. There he is playing inside backer. Watch how this is the play I was talking about, I think. Watch him scrape the backside of this offensive lineman like he's attached to him almost to get around the edge. You see that? I mean, that's just instincts. That's a lot of guys, football's a game of inches. And in order to get to a guy, sometimes you've got to look how he engages with the shoulder right here. And this is another example of shedding blocks in a way. This is another of a guy that's undersized, engaging. Look how much lower he is than the offensive lineman right here. And watch him get right up underneath him and get to the ball carrier. He's already got this offensive lineman off balance before the ball is in the ball carrier's stomach. Look, the ball carrier gets the ball. He's back there, guys. Look where he started. Look, he's taking a step before the ball's even snapped. Knows where the play's going because this offensive lineman moved, looks like before the snap, maybe. So this guy jumping, let him go, okay, the play, they're going this way. Watch him. He just attacks that hole, dips underneath the O-lineman, boom, makes a play in the backfield. Here he goes again. Look at this instincts. There it is again. Same exact kind of play. Watch how he hugs this offensive lineman and absolutely eats his lunch for the middle linebacker spot, guys. It's incredible to watch. Watch this. I'm gone. And I love that rip move as he goes through there. Watch this rip move that he uses at the very tail end of this. So he's already knows he's going to engage this guy. Look at that right arm's out, which is typical for the rip move. You want to use that leverage. And he gets that left shoulder underneath the offensive lineman and rips through. Rip. And makes a play. I love it. Look, he knows where the play's going. Like this is what I'm talking about. When you watch guys on tape, this is what you're looking for. This is a middle linebacker. This is a guy you want on your defense. This is a guy diagnosing plays well before they happen, almost to the point to where if they'd have pulled that, he'd have been in a really bad position, right? But that's the thing. Like you either make the right, you got a 50-50 shot, really. And I'm sure he probably actually knows based off tape study, based off a lot of different factors. I mean, you look at things like, you can tell, look at the offensive linemen, look at the hand pressure they have into the ground, all the way to something the running backs could be doing. Look, this guy's looking to the left. There's a bunch of different things you can look at and study as a linebacker, and watch how quickly he diagnoses this and gets into his first couple steps before anything even happens. And he blew up the play because he knew where it was going. There he is, just a smart play in pass coverage. Nothing special, nothing fancy. He's just in the right place. He could have rode with that tight end and maybe missed it, but another good play on the ball. Solid tackler as well. I looked up some of his numbers. He's got very good tackling numbers as well. Look at that change of direction. See, this guy's got a little bit of everything, in my opinion, guys. A lot of linebackers don't make this play right here. He crashes down on the running back, right? But look, he plants that foot in the ground right there just in case he's trying to play both, right? And he ends up guessing right. And look, that's a tough play to catch on to if you're not a good athlete. You're going to get dusted right here. Watch him keep up with the quarterback and cut with him here and actually make the tackle. Gone. Nope. Gotcha. And just for one more for good measure, let's leave it again on this this pass rushing play versus BYU that I just think is beautiful. Get off me. This dude's a wrecking ball. And like I said, FCS, call it what you want. This dude can play, and I think he'll make a huge impact in this West Virginia defense. There's no doubt about it. So, like I said, I'm going to make a very big prediction on here. I think he'll be a starting linebacker for West Virginia. I think this guy is going to live in backfields this year. And I think that we'll be lucky to keep him next year if the portal opens again, because I think this guy will have a 90 to 110 tackle kind of season, probably have 5 or 6 sacks, maybe a pick or two. Like, I really think he's got that kind of ability. So big fan of Bogles, if you can't tell. We went way over here. Got to go to break. On the other side, who's coming in basketball? I think that's a fair question because there's been a lot of chatter online about certain guys. Smurf, Millender, Miles Che. What's going on with all these names we hear? Let's stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, guys. When it comes to Monarch Money, one of our favorite places to talk about, of course, on Locked On, because when you check your bank account, if you're like me, you wonder, where did my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So why don't you just stop managing your money and start building your wealth? Guys, when I started using Monarch, I realized I was pretty much spending a lot of food on DoorDash. I've talked about this every time we have to do this read. I do budget better and save more now. I realize that I can cook for myself a little bit more than I just love Arby's mozzarella sticks. Can you not tell? Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off your very first year. It's segment 2. Let's crack a do that's technically not a do this time. We're drinking Gatorade. I may or may not have been at a gym. It's for you guys to decide. I mean, look at this. Look at it. Can't you tell I was in the tanning bed? Oh, Lord. Okay, so I love it. I love Arby's mozzarella sticks, Brad. Brad Boo, who loves to come in here and he loves it. He loves it. I'm so fat. He loves it. All right, so let's get to the basketball stuff. I think that's why you guys are in here, right? All right. So, yesterday I showed you guys a screenshot. I think I still have it here. Let me make sure. I think it's right. Where is it? Is it there? Yeah, this is the one. So this is Sam Alexis from the Florida Gators. We talked about this yesterday. This screenshot underneath, for context, for those of you listening on podcasts, this is a screenshot under where Honor Huff posted his pictures with Ross Hodge in his West Virginia uniform when he committed, I think. Sam Alexis, who just went in the portal yesterday from the Florida Gators, one of the highest upside big guys in the portal. He didn't score. He was only averaged 4 points a game last year, but he did get injured. And, Florida fans were extremely disappointed to lose him. He did win a national championship there. And I mean, he's going to command a lot of money, in my opinion, in the portal. So anyways, this would be an enormous gift, like on that level of Huff or Eagle staff for me. So I'm watching this closely. What's funny is today, what happened, you look at it, Miles Che's on there now talking. Yeah, what's up? Calling him family. So you've got Miles Che, you've got Sam Alexis and Marcus Millender all kind of involved with West Virginia here, I think. I've confirmed some of it I have not. I do know that Honor and company have been recruiting both of these guys, and they've all got ties together at different places at different points in time. And so this is going to be super interesting, guys. Obviously, we love Smurf Millender. He's been crystal balled to West Virginia multiple places now. Whether you look at I think it's Joe Knows over on X. He has I think he's, what is he, like 80-5 or something like that on his picks, which is an incredible percentage. You can't get them all because a guy will say, I'm committing to Iowa State today, and then if somebody comes with an extra 100K, he's gone, right? So you talk to him on the phone before bed, and by morning he's already left for 100K somewhere. It's just no way to get them all. So a lot of people are hearing a lot of Millender smoke to West Virginia. I have talked to that guy. Absolutely, we're going to predict West Virginia lands Millender for now. Anything can happen though. So just all I'm saying is the tea leaves are pointing very strongly for that. The other two guys are a little bit more of unknowns for me personally. We've heard Miles Che for a long time now, associated with West Virginia. I haven't seen that he is committed. I didn't actually check before today, but I mean, I assume he's talking about their family. I should get the screenshot. I'm sure I have it somewhere. Let me look. Let me go to my messages. Let me pull this up. Oh man, the coach from Bogle just reached out to me, man. I was going to try to get some information from Coach G, who's got like 20,000 X subscribers or followers, and I was going to ask him a few questions about Bogle because I was so pumped up and impressed by him. But things happen, right? Let's see. Do I have him? I thought I did. Let's see. There was supposed to be a screenshot here somewhere I thought I had with those guys, but anyway, it's nothing, it's nothing that it's nothing that you really have to see. You get the context of what I'm saying anyways. They're all talking about joining up together on this group chat. So I figured, what I can do is I'll just talk about the individual players a little bit, and for those that are maybe joining for the first time or haven't heard, we'll kind of go over this one more quick time to just so that people know who are listening, who are these players that West Virginia could be involved in. Marcus Smurf Millender, 15 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game. He averaged 2 steals a game in 28 starts, 31 games last year for UTSA. A 44% field goal percentage, but here's the big one. 43.8% from 3. That's 8th nationally, guys, for players with at least 160-plus attempts. He's also close to 90% from the free-throw line. And honestly, his game is he can get into the lane like nobody. Like, that's one of his most impressive feats that I think he does well. So Smurf brings literally everything to the table. Now, is he the most elite finisher ever? I don't know if you could say that, but he's a good finisher. But what he really does is he gets into the lane with athleticism and then makes good decisions off of that. I think you could play him at 1 or 2, honestly. He'd be a super interesting mix and match with him and Honor Huff, Jasper Floyd and company. I don't know how they're going to do it. Certainly I wouldn't expect him to come off the bench. I wouldn't assume. I mean, unless they're paying him a lot to do it. He averaged 3.3 assists per game. So that's, that shows the ability to facilitate as well. The 2 steals a game, man, that's really good. And he's noted, if you look him up at any point in time, one of the number one things you see about him is hard-nosed defender. It's just who he is. You see him some places have him at 6 foot. Some have him at 5'11". So I think, if you're looking at weaknesses, he may struggle to defend taller guards in the Big 12 where physicality is kind of key. 3 rebounds per game is modest for a guard, so his impact on the glass could be an issue. And like, he's efficient. His scoring output at 14.9 a game, I think it will translate to the Big 12, but I think at the same time, you're not going to get that with this roster in the Big 12. I think other guys maybe getting a couple more shots. He does have Georgia, Florida State, Kansas State, and others looking at him too. So, I do expect West Virginia to be heavily in the mix here and likely to win Millender over, but anything can happen in this day and age, guys. So we'll keep an eye on him. For Miles Che, this is one I had honestly given up on until I saw this. I don't know if he's maybe if he's trying to get in the mix here, like maybe the coaches are looking elsewhere for now or what. But, man, this dude he can play, obviously. So, he's a guy that can play the 3, he can play the 2 a bit. He can score. He can do a little bit of everything. He can obviously shoot it from very deep. I like him a lot. I just think that, and obviously they were a very good team last year, the team he played on at UNC, whichever one of the ones it was he played on last year. But I just wonder if with all these guards that West Virginia's picking up, if maybe he's the odd one out here, or if they're going to pick him up too, because now you've got 15 roster spots. It's going to be interesting to see. He's an elite three-point shooter. He can get into the lane. He's got a great mid-range jumper. I like him. He's not a bad defender. He would certainly be a 6 out of 10 on my impact scale. By the way, I have Marcus Smurf Milliner as an 8 out of 10 on my impact scale, transfer impact meter scale. I said his shooting and defensive hustle definitely elevate our backcourt, but his size is mainly my biggest worry. The 6 out of 10 per Che, I think, I think he would be just a notch below possibly a Millender or a Huff. So, would he come off the bench? Is he willing to do that as a double-digit scorer? I don't know. Sam Alexis, this is a big one here, guys. This is an 8.5 out of 10 on my impact transfer scale. And consider that. I mean, let's say Javon Small's at 10, right? Or like an 11, more like, really. But, this guy's a forward / center. He's 6'9", 225 pounds. Man, can he really play? We'll go to break. On the other side, guys, we'll come back and finish this breakdown on Sam Alexis, who wants to play with Honor Hupp again, as you see right here. We'll talk about it next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia also going to be brought to you by nobody, because we're coming right back. I forgot, didn't have an ad read in this one. So as we roll through here to segment 3, we're talking about Sam Alexis, the Florida Gators transfer, 6'9", 225 pounds. He's known as a rim protector and rebounder, but man, he can score it too. And he played a pretty key role in the tournament, especially for that NCAA championship run Florida literally just had. He was played with Honor Hupp at Chattanooga, where we averaged 11 and 10 pretty much, guys, the year before, and was one of the best bigs in the portal. He also averaged 2 blocks a game. He had a 54% field goal percentage in 33 games. So, he averaged 4 points per game in an injured role for Florida, because he did hurt his ankle badly. So his Florida stuff isn't exactly – I mean, there's tape of it out there. I mean, he had a game where he had 14 and 12 last year with Florida. So it's definitely like – he's there. Don't let's not pretend like he's not going to be a huge pickup for somebody. It's just Florida had so many guys that, and he got injured. Like like I said this last night, if you go look up his name, just type it on an X, there's multiple occasions where Florida fans were like, put in Sam Alexis, like they wanted to see more of him. And when you turn the tape on, you can tell why. He can shoot the 3. He shoots it right around 33%. I would say he's like kind of like a Hansberry, where it's like, I don't know, like I'm not confident it's going to go in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he made it, like that kind of thing. He's an elite shot blocker for sure. He's an elite rebounder, and he can score it if you throw it down low to him. But what he's really good at is the pick and roll, pick and pop game. So with Honor Hupp, if you go watch their Chattanooga stuff, I mean, it was really tough to stop them, and they won a bunch of games there. I think they won 25 games, but on the pick and roll, he would either roll out and shoot a 3, and you had to guard it because he's shooting 32% from there. But when he rolls to the rim, he's got like a 7'2" wingspan. So you throw it up to him, and he just basically just almost standing can dunk it. So, that's something that he also does really well. He's 6'9", but like I say, when 6'9", you see this sometimes. You'll see a guy that's 6'8", or a guy that's 6'7", or a guy that's 6'9", but they have like a 7'2" wingspan. Well, that makes up for, like, they may as well be 6'11" at that point, because the arm length is the biggest factor, in my opinion, anyways, to blocking shots, obviously. So when a guy's got arm length like that, you can overlook as far as rim protection goes, some height, because obviously great timing and arm length, you're going to have block shots. Now, rebounding matters just because somebody's 6'7", but they have a 7'2" wingspan. That's fine, but girth wise, they're probably going to be smaller than a guy that's 6'10", and they may get pushed around. So it goes both ways. But this guy is a 6'9" guy, so he's kind of right there in that upper echelon of big especially in college basketball. And you could win with the guy that's 6'9" at your 5 if you really wanted to. I don't know how these coaches are going to, with Darren DeVries last year, I would have said he probably plays the 5, and Oconee would have played the 4 last year. This year's equivalent to that would have been him playing the 5 and Lorient playing the 4, and OBO coming off the bench. This is what would happen if this were to happen, I think. So that's something to monitor. I don't know. Or they play them both at the same time, which I don't necessarily see happening unless they have to do. But I think there'll still be some semblance of Lorient will be at the 4, and then either OBO or whoever else they bring in the big will be at 5, and then they'll have the 3 guards in the wing, the 2 guards in the wing, right? So I still, so they obviously Eagle Staff's going to be our 3. We've already got that, but he also plays the 2 and the 1. So they all play everything. So it's going to be kind of interesting. But like in the way things are constructed now, if you bring in a Millender and you bring in a Huff, then you really start to wonder. Like I would not want to be Coach Hodge trying to figure out who my starting 5 would be on that roster, because Jasper Floyd's been a point guard at a very high level for a long time. Do you start him because he's a great defender and has experience in the system? Or do you bring him off the bench and now you've got this great defensive point guard who can score it coming off the bench as your starting secondary point guard, or do you play Millender, Huff, and Eagle Staff together? I don't know. There's a lot. We have to add Millender first, and I get that. I totally understand that. I'm just saying, there's a lot of different routes this could end up being. And we'll just have to keep monitoring it. But I do think West Virginia's got a shot at all those guys we talked about. Could also be especially Millender. And I showed you guys on here last night the text messages between he and myself where he said he loved the visit. He's going to make a decision in the next couple of days. I've seen you guys talking about this before I came on. Millender did say he's going to take a couple of days to make a decision. So don't freak out if he hasn't made one yet. And he's probably still getting phone calls. So all that matters, like for all I know, somebody snuck in and convinced him to go to Iowa State or Kansas State or Oklahoma State or anything by now. Like that's truly could happen. So don't hold me to it. But as it stands right now, I would say he's going to be a Mountaineer at some point. I think that's all I got. I wanted to get on here and talk about the basketball guys again because we talked about it at 10:30 last night. Really wanted to go over Bogle because that kid is going to be an absolute stud for us, y'all. I cannot wait to see him on the field for West Virginia. I'm going to try to get him in for an interview. I did ask him if he would come on. He didn't respond to that question, so he may not be sure if he can or not, or maybe some guys just don't like to do it. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I appreciate you guys for being patient earlier because I was having trouble with my internet because I didn't realize the cats knocked it out. So, of course, but that's really all I got. Thank you guys for joining in, and like the video before you go, please. If you're in here, please just move your thumb or move your index finger or whatever you're using, your mouse clicker, just a couple inches there and hit that like button. We've got 350 you guys over on X, 150 you guys here on YouTube. So, if you could hit that like button, share the video out, by the way, if you can. Those are my mods and people like that. If you can share the video out, just, whether you copy the URL or you literally click share and just copy and paste that into an X post or a Facebook post, that helps engagement more than anything else you can possibly do. And drop a comment below. Let me know if you disagree with me about Bogle. Let me know if you disagree about any of the basketball players, the starting 5s that I try to talk about. Am I giving the FCS guy too much credit? Let me know how you feel down below. I promise, even though I might argue with you, I can take the criticism. Just ask old Brad Boo down there. He loves trying to give me hell. So that's really all I got, guys. Epic Sausage, glad you're here. Glad you could catch a live. It's an epic name. So gonna be fun. We'll keep monitoring everything, guys. Anybody can go live, or anybody can commit at any minute. We'll be live when it does. We go 7 days a week here. So, and it's multiple times a day, a lot of the time, and it takes me a long time to get these researched and ready to roll. So it's not like I just turn the computer on and roll. So, I spend a lot of time on these guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. I know everybody don't like me, and that's fine, but I work hard. So that's all I can say for sure. All right, guys. Thank you to Shaq for being in here. I think you might be the only one that made it today in the mods, which is fine. I appreciate you being in here, brother. Tosh and Kenny, thanks for being in here. Ray, all you guys that are always in here. So that's all. I think I'm good. I'll let you guys know a little bit ahead of time if we do another live tonight, because I just have a feeling we could end up getting another player or two, but who knows? Maybe we don't. We'll keep an eye on it. All right, guys. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen today. But if you could do me another favor, just a small one, Brad, do me a favor and check out Locked On NFL Draft. It's obviously the draft is tomorrow, so if you want to get caught up on everything, Damian Parson, Key Sanchez, your favorite collegiate players like Wyatt Milam are getting ready for the next level. Get the latest draft rankings, rumors, and news every day. And find Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, guys. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll probably talk about Wyatt at some point. She should go in the first 2 or 3 rounds of the draft. So looking forward to that, and he deserves it. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later on. You have a great rest of your week, and I'm out of here.